Good evening and welcome to Silent Sunday Nights here on Turner Classic Movies. I'm your host, Jacqueline Stewart. I'm coming to you from the University of Chicago's Institute for the Study of Ancient Cultures, one of the world's leading museums and research centers on the ancient civilizations of West Asia and North Africa. Our selection this week marks a breakout film for director Cecil B. DeMille. It's also a racially charged story that caused outrage in Japan and beyond. Released by Paramount in 1915, it's called The Cheat. Broadway star Fannie Ward plays a married socialite who uses charity funds for a personal investment. When she loses the money, she goes around her husband and enlists the help of a wealthy Japanese businessman played by Sesawa Hayakawa, and things do not go as planned. The film was one of the first in Hollywood to have such sexually charged content, with Fannie Ward's character being very much in a play-for-pay situation with her Japanese benefactor. The storyline caused a sensation. Critics also lauded DeMille's skill with lighting and his innovative camera techniques. They also appreciated the more nuanced, less theatrical performances he brought out of his cast. It was a far cry from the many over-the-top portrayals that were typical in melodramas of the silent era. The movie made Sesawa Hayakawa, in particular, a star. The film greatly elevated DeMille's status as well as a director, although it's a wonder he was able to finish the film at all. That's because several days into shooting, he was told by the production company, the Jesse Lasky Company, that another film was in need of a director. It was called The Golden Chance, starring Wallace Reed, so DeMille was charged with directing both films simultaneously. He worked on our film from 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., took a dinner break, and then worked on the other movie until 2 in the morning. Playing the husband in our film is Jack Dean, who was actually Fannie Ward's real-life husband at the time. Here is one of the early movies to be added to the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress back in 1993. From 1915, The Cheat. When The Cheat was released in 1915, that branding scene shocked many movie audiences, and it's still disturbing to this day. That sequence was a direct contribution of Jeannie McPherson, who co-wrote the screenplay with director Hector Turnbull. She started working at the Jesse Lasky Company in 1915, the same year our movie was released. She went on to write or co-write many of director Cecil B. DeMille's best films. Examples include Male and Female, The Ten Commandments, and The King of Kings. The two also had a years-long love affair. Another controversial scene in the film, of course, is in the courtroom, with Sesawa Hayakawa's character very nearly being lynched. Japan was an ally of the U.S. at the time, and Japanese viewers greatly objected to the film's content. So much so, in fact, that when the movie was re-released 3 years later, in 1918, the Japanese character's name and nationality were changed to indicate he was from Burma instead. Up next, Alicia Malone will be here with this week's edition of TCM Imports. I'll be back next week for Silent Sunday Nights. I'm Jacqueline Stewart. Thanks for watching.
Next on TCM, The Life of Oharu, then Lola, and later, Ring of Fire. TCM burns, burns, burns tonight.